and the violence it leads to.
My Lords, I too welcome this debate. One caveat: I speak at lots of school sixth formers and universities, and I'm increasingly struck by how scared young women are. They see threats everywhere, convinced that rape, sexual assault and male violence are rampant, a real and present danger. And often this is less based on real experience, but rather because they are taught that headline-generating horror stories are the norm. This can be debilitating, so I'm aware of our responsibility to be proportionate and avoid the unintended consequences of undermining young women's resilience. We need to be wary of reinforcing the narrative that all women are vulnerable victims, that all men are a threat. And it's worth remembering that historically, scaremongering about women's safety was society's excuse for limiting women's freedom and equality. The so-called weaker sex needed constant paternalistic protection, to be chaperoned everywhere, confined to the safety of the home. The fight for women's liberation insisted women should be free to take risks, able to live in the world autonomously without being inhibited by fear. However, my main focus today is when real victims are let down by our refusal to confront one fashionable policy priority that undermines efforts to tackle violence and sexual abuse, and that's gender ideology. As the Noble Baroness Stedman Scott has discussed, a boy has just been arrested at an Essex school over allegations of serious sexual assault in gender-neutral toilets. At the recent Westminster Hall debate on equality legislation, MP Jess Phillips explained the crucial role that women-only refuges play for victims of domestic violence. But these are now under threat because councils and charities have embraced the illusion of biological sex and gender preference. We've seen similar scandals in rape crisis provision, and we're all familiar with the mess the criminal justice system has got in terms of convicted male predators being housed in women's prisons. I want to share another injustice, and for me this is personal, of what happens when a male sexual abuser leaves prison as a woman. Kerry Lee Galvin is a 24-year-old mum who was systematically raped and abused by her own father for 9 years from the age of 8. In 2016, Bundy was given a 15-year sentence. The first shocker: the parole board recently released Clive Bundy after serving only 7 years in jail. The second shocker: before his release, his daughter Kerry Lee got a call from her victim liaison officer telling her that her incestuous father had been given permission to change gender. The prison provided makeup, female clothing, a wig, and Bundy was segregated to protect her from male prisoners. His name change by deed poll was paid for, and his new name, Claire Fox, my name. Even more shocking, Clive Bundy, as a free Claire Fox, can distance himself from his crimes. Changing his gender means his criminal checks are compromised by a legal loophole created by gender orthodoxy closing down any challenge. A sex offender changing their name would officially show up as on Home Office disclosure and barring service records, a safeguarding device used to check on previous convictions. However, something called the sensitivity application clause gives transgender job applications candidates the choice not to record any information that will reveal their previous identity. And we're all supposed to collude with this new gender identity on pain of being accused of transphobic misgendering. Kate Coleman, author of the Keep Prisons Single Sex Report on these enhanced privacy rights of trans people, notes the likes of Bundy can change his name and gender on official documents such as passports and driver's licence, which can be used as proof of identity to the DBS. Bundy's privacy rights also means his own daughter, the victim, was only told by the authorities about her father's name and gender change because he gave permission. As a postscript, since his release, Clive Bundy, aka Claire Fox, has been seen in Kerry Lee's home time looking suspiciously like the man he is. No wig, no pretence, but on paper the authorities tell us we all have to pretend he's female. Kerry Lee has bravely broke her anonymity to speak out so that other abuse victims won't be hurt by this loophole. I hope that we as legislators can honour her courage by amending the forthcoming victims law to ensure no more Clive Bundys can get away with gaslighting their victims or mocking all safeguarding initiatives. We must oppose gender ideology.
Lords, I'm